Yeah, that's the one right there. Yeah, Alpai. So, I mean, goodness gracious. This proves exactly what I was talking about. There is no military path to success here. By Israel trying to accomplish this political objective of bringing peace to Israel by using the military, all they're doing is sowing the seeds of future instability. I said you cannot kill your way to success. Not any kind of brilliant statement, not anything that's not, you have to be some Einstein to figure out. I've lived it. I experienced it in Iraq and Afghanistan. I watched it with my own eyes to our loss. I watched us try to get rid of that, try to not pay attention to that dictum, and I saw what happened. I specifically saw it with the Taliban. We went from, I want to say it was 2,000 or so when I was first deployed there in 2005. Then it was around 15 to 20,000 in 2011. 2010, 2011, when I was back in there. And then the last number I saw before the Taliban finally took over, 75,000. Every time we accelerated our troops, we increased the killing power, the Taliban grew in size. No matter how many we killed, we could never kill our way out of it. It just grew. It seems counterintuitive. It's not so much if you understand the nature of insurgencies and what motivates them, etc. Same situation is here. There is no way, after all that these people have suffered since 1947, folks, there's no way that this people is going to be cowed into submission by a bunch of bombs. Their whole life has been lived under this stuff. They know how to endure, just like the North Vietnamese people did during the Vietnam War. We bombed them into submission, probably killed millions of people in Cambodia, Laos, and North Vietnam. And of course, North Vietnam ended up taking over the whole place, and they own it to this day, that government there. You see it all over the place. It's not hard to figure out, and you see it playing out before your very eyes. So the question has to be, at what point do we finally, as the United States, and forget about Israel, because the current government is beyond, I don't think that they can come to their senses. I don't think that they can change. I think that Benjamin Netanyahu and all the people he's got on his cabinet are ideologically predisposed, and just like the Palestinian people aren't going to give up, neither is Benjamin Netanyahu and a lot of those folks, because we got to be honest, large portions of the population are complete agreement with them. So that's not going to change. What we can do, and the only thing that can change on the ground, is if the United States, and that means only one guy has to get this right. It's not Friedrich Merz, it's not Emmanuel Macron, it's not Carney, it is Donald Trump. That's it. He has the one guy on the planet, the solitary person who has the power to bring this to an end, because you cannot continue on with this indefinite bombing campaign and all that if you don't have the bombs, if you don't have the bullets, if you don't have the other tools and the logistics of war that we routinely provide at large scale on a regular basis. You may recall how during the Biden administration, when Biden had temporarily held up the one category of 2,000-pound bombs, Israel was going crazy, and they were all upset, etc., demanding change and demanding submission to what they wanted, etc. Apparently, eventually they got it. But that's how sensitive they are to it, because they know that without the constant flow of ammunition from the United States, this cannot continue. So Trump then has the absolute veto power leverage over Netanyahu. It says, and he should just tell him, it is not in American interest to do this. It is not in American interest to go to a war with Iran. We're going to make the best deal that we can get with them that's going to contain them, that's going to curtail their nuclear ambitions. And you can even say that, yeah, and we're going to prevent them from ever getting a nuclear bomb. That's fine. They don't have one. So that's categorically not that difficult. We can do that because that's in our interest to do so. And you either take this ceasefire that I'm working with Witkoff here and Hamas and probably Qatar, you either take the deal that we come up there, or we're going to cut you off. I mean, this is a version of what I recommend for the Russia-Ukraine war. Then I just say that we should walk away. Here, we don't have to walk away. We just have to turn off the spigot. That's what we need to do. Now, I know, believe me, I'm well aware personally that there will be screeches and howls of indignation from those who love the Netanyahu government, those who want what's best for his personal government. Understand this. They won't, but I say this rhetorically, but it's true, whether they can accept it or not. Israel is harming itself by what they're doing. You see it playing out exactly on that headline I just showed you. You see that despite this massive, unprecedented level of destruction, the world has not seen anything like this since like the Dresden bombing days of World War II, where we just, or frankly, the nuclear bombs that fell on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. You look at some of the pictures of Hiroshima and Nagasaki after that bomb, and you look at pictures today of Gaza, and you tell me if some of those areas are not indistinguishable. You can't even tell the difference. That much ordnance has been dropped on the Gaza Strip, and so many people have been killed. A lot of this, the loss of food, the malnutrition is going to have lifetime effects for some people. If all the food aid comes back tomorrow, there's many because especially if you're young, when you're suffering malnutrition, you can't overcome that later in life. So there's already a tremendous amount of damage that will never be undone. But we can stop creating new damage by taking this action here. It is good for Israel, whether they accept it or not, whether it's kicking and screaming, it's good for them. It's definitely good for the United States. We need to end, because we have been absolute supporters of this horrific, unsubstantiated and unjustifiable carnage that Israel has wreaked on this population with our acknowledgement and help. And our facilitation. Without that, they couldn't have done it. Let's end all of that shame and disgrace. Let's end the damage it's causing to the people of Palestine, and stop the destruction. Now, let me not even have the slightest chance that anybody thinks that I'm naive about thinking that's going to end the problem. It won't, and that's sealed. That's concrete, set in. This is going to take a generation to undo in the very best of circumstances. And so far, we don't have the very best of circumstances. But it's not even possible to move in a direction that's positive until we first take this step. And that's what we need to do. And I'm fully advocating that. And I certainly hope that we do it, at least for the first time in a long time. There's some optimism that maybe we are, that enough of the senior Western leaders, especially to include Trump, are showing that they're kind of, this is all played out. They're no longer playing by the old rules here, because they see that it's disaster. It's not working for anyone. I hope that trend continues, and that very soon we can report here that Trump has given that ultimatum to Netanyahu. You either stop it or figure it out on your own, because we're not going to facilitate this anymore. That's what he should do, and I certainly hope that he does, and I pray that that's what he does. And we thank you guys very much today. Gary told me to say this earlier, and I just now realized I forgot. Be sure and like and subscribe. We really appreciate it when you do that. That helps us share the videos a lot better. Thank you very much, and we'll see you tomorrow on Daniel Davis Deep Dive.